Let's go!
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Co op podcast. My name is Greg, joined by Ryan,
Hello, I'm Ryan.
and we're just gamers trying to make a podcast for gamers. Before we really get into this, me and Ryan both want to say that we're thinking about all the victims and family members of the Jacksonville mass shooting today that happened at the Madden tournament. As gamers, we all come together to watch people play and get excited. So the last thing we kind of think of is this kind of stuff happening. So thinking about you guys, should not have happened. It's a terrible incident. So thoughts and prayers out to everyone there. So, but now let's get into the podcast. Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm 21. I live in Ohio. I'm currently a senior at The Ohio State University. I'll be graduating in the spring with a bachelor's in classics and a minor in history. A lot of people probably don't know what classics is. I study ancient Latin and ancient Greek, and so I look at texts written by Caesar and Cicero and translate them, um, and like analyze them and stuff.
So,
That's me.
so basically, your diploma is gonna say, "Would you like fries with that?" Because that's pretty much what you're gonna
Yeah.
be doing with that
Oh
degree.
yeah, baby. Yeah, and I need to figure out what I'm gonna do after I graduate.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, so he's a huge gamer, huge nerd, as you can tell. But I'm Greg. I live in San Diego. I recently moved to San Diego from Sacramento, California. So I'm on the West Coast and love the weather here. I graduated college in 2017 with a major in psychology and a minor in child development. Basically, did the minor thing so I didn't have to take useless classes and I could just, my classes would actually mean something and I can get a minor. So that's why I did that. Pretty fun. I'm a huge gamer. I guess you could say I'm an esports athlete. I used to be sponsored and um to go out to tournaments and fly and play and compete in them. So that was pretty cool. And basically, like we said, we made this podcast because we're gamers. And when I go on Spotify or the podcast app, and I'm going to my commute, I'm thinking gaming podcasts. I want to listen to some gaming podcasts, and all I see is like IGN and stuff like that. And there was one called The Misfits, which is like a bunch of like CS:GO YouTubers, and their podcast is really entertaining, but it got boring, not boring, but old really fast because it was just basically their life after gaming, like what gaming got them, and then just their stories and events. So I was like, I want a gaming podcast where people just talk about the games they've played and experience that they got from it. Not after it, but like while they were playing, how they were feeling and stuff. So that's kind of why I started this podcast. And I was like, who's the better person to get this would be me and my friend Ryan, who's sitting here, and because he's a huge nerd. Tell us about your stream.
Well, the other thing I was gonna go off of with what you were saying too, I think other gaming podcasts are just they're very solidified to that specific game because I know they have like the Codcast that goes over the CWL. Then like if you don't know anything about Call of Duty or even if you're a casual Call of Duty player and you don't really care about the pro scene, then you're not getting the entertainment that you're seeking. So I think with what our idea is, we'll be able to cover all kinds of video games, whether they're old, new, in the know, not in the know, indie games like AAA companies. Like we'll be able to cover whatever we want or whatever the viewers or listeners want. So I think that gives us a little bit more freedom. But yeah, I grew up playing Game Boy games, so Zelda and Pokemon, and want to say like elementary schoolish. Me and my little brother wanted Halo more than anything in the world, and we we weren't allowed to play it because it was gory and it was rated M. And then our cool uncle decided to break the wishes of our parents and bought us an Xbox. And so we got Halo, and this was before the internet was like super big. Um, we played split screen all the time. We played Blood Gulch, all that good stuff. So then, fast forward a little bit when the internet starts to take off. I was super into Halo 3 online. Hated Call of Duty, hated it. And then my friends finally got me to play Nazi Zombies, and that's what made me buy Call of Duty. Fast forward again about what MW3 ish, Black Ops 1 ish. I started competing on game battles. Never traveled or anything, so I don't think I can really be considered an athlete. But I've competed online for a while. I'm ranked pretty high on MLG. I play wagers every now and then. I stream as much as possible for a number of reasons. I'm just kind of a loner in general. I'm a huge nerd. So like in college, rather than spending all my money at the bars, going out partying, getting in trouble, I try to stay in.
Spending all your money on V-Bucks.
Yeah, V-Bucks now instead of alcohol. But yeah, so I mean, I used to compete a lot. I'm starting to come down off of my competitive side for a number of reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, so the crazy thing is he started competing, like you said, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, and that's actually how we met, is through game battles. So for those of you who don't know what Game Battles is a site where you sign up and you play for either money or just XP. The money costs money, so you have to spend money to hopefully make money, but the free side was the XP ladders and the pretty much, I guess you could call them free ladders. Um, Ranging from 1v1s to 2v2s to 3v3s, all the way up. I think they had 8v8s or 6v, something like that. Like in the newer games, they made it 8v8, but like in Modern Warfare 3 and stuff like that, it was like 6v6. So it's pretty much like a pub with all your friends. It was a lot of fun, but on these forums, people would either post for scrims or tryouts, and it was so like looking back on it. I'm 24. I don't compete anymore like for money. I mean, I play still, but it's so lame. Like team of three looking for one to go to events, be what's the word, committed, no
Yeah.
no like more than 14 years, like older than 14. It's just like, come on, man.
Good
Like,
good communication
yeah,
needed. Must
yeah,
must know call outs, like and all
don't
this
waste our,
stuff.
dude, the
Like,
funniest,
don't
don't
waste
waste
our
our
time.
time.
Yeah.
Don't waste our
Yeah.
time. Like,
And
okay.
this is before esports were really respected
Yeah,
too,
so this
because
is
I would say the respect of esports has grown exponentially in the past 3 4 years. But this was back when, like, if you told your parents you were gonna try and go to a Call of Duty event, they had no idea what you're talking
yeah,
about.
they're like,
A lot of parents didn't even think that you could really make money playing video games in the first place. I would say until Black Ops 2 is when Call of Duty finally earned some respect, and I feel like it's still not even as respected as it could or should be. But yeah.
yeah, and so me and my friends, we had three, me, Tanner, and my friend Benji, and we were looking for an AR because I played OBJ sub. Tanner ran an AR slash sub, and Benji was a sub as well. So we had two subs and one AR, but we needed that one anchor type, like good shot, good communicator, and we'll just stand his ground player. So we posted team of three looking for one, and nothing else. No, don't waste our time. None of that stuff. And Ryan, and so Ryan, added me and stuff like that, and so we hosted tryouts because you'd have like two or three players from the team that are like obviously there watching, and then you have like the eight people that want to try out or more, you know, playing against each other in like a eights lobby. An eights lobby would be considered just a bunch of people, random people, no teams, just everything's randomized, and they play. And so obviously the best player would be selected over the course of a few games. They'd be selected for, you know, to be on your team. And your gamer tag at the time on Xbox 360, I remember it like it was yesterday. Arcaden, the map Arcaden with like the mall. Your name was X Rhinoceros or XX Rhinoceros. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And you, obviously Ryan. I mean, what, 6 7 years later, Ryan is obviously my friend, so he did really well in the tournament or tryouts and got on the team, and we actually played like religiously together for years. Like it was, I think maybe like AW was when Advanced Warfare was. I think was like the time that me and you kind of went our separate ways.
Well,
Not
no, it was
because.
before that because when in Ghost is when you and I think Tanner did the 2v2s, and I hated Ghost. So
Oh
actually,
yeah.
I quit playing video games completely after Ghost came out. Because that was like right around the time where I actually started doing stuff
Yeah,
in
soccer,
in
playing
high
soccer.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like actually going outside, and so I quit playing till AW came out, and then by then I think you had gone to college, so you were kind of going through the same thing, like trying to figure out classes and like making friends and like doing things to the
Yeah.
point where like we and like I said, the whole competition thing some people stick with it, some people drop it off. And that's a whole nother conversation that I'm sure we'll have
Oh yeah.
later episodes. But I think AW is when I peaked. Like I was most competitive, whereas for you, like Ghost was kind of your thing, and then after that, with the whole jetpacks, you were like, I don't really want to
Because
compete in
it was like,
AW.
dude, people were spending like 200, $300 on controllers, like the Scuff controllers or like the
Yeah, if you
Battle
didn't
Beavers.
have,
I don't even know. If you didn't have one, you were pretty much screwed and you're
because yeah,
useless.
and if you guys don't watch Call of Duty, you don't play it. A lot of you PC gamers, game battles is the equivalent, I would say, of just having ranked in the game. So like if you play CS and you just have casual and ranked, game battles is the way that the more competitive players find a ranked lobby. At
Hmm.
least back in the day, it was. Call of Duty is trying to implement those kind of things into the game. My opinion, failing. But and the other thing is like when the jetpack era came out. Again, if you don't watch Call of Duty, up until Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty was just virtual military. So it's just you're on the ground, you get some grenades, you get a gun, you kill people. Well, AW came out and then Activision or whoever decided that they wanted to speed up the game
Yeah.
for viewers, for players. They wanted to try something new and innovative. And so they added what everyone refers to them as jetpacks, but it's just like boosters on your back, and you could jump higher. You could get to different vantage points on the maps. You can move around quicker. And basically, a SCUF controller is a normal PlayStation controller, and then on the back side of it, there's two paddles. One paddle would let you jump, and the other one would let you melee. The thought process is that if you can jump without taking your finger off the thumbstick, then you can jump and aim at the same time. Whereas anybody with a normal controller has to take their thumb off of the analog stick, which you use to aim your gun, and hit X to jump, which sounds really nerdy, but that sequence of motion of like moving your thumb from your analog, it makes a really big difference when you start playing more and more competitive type games. Like obviously if you just play pubs or you just play casually, this isn't the end of the world, but when you start playing tournaments, and I mean that those split seconds of aiming really did make or break the game for some players. So
Yeah. And other than Scuffs, the only alternative, if you didn't want to buy a controller, is Claw. And Claw, yeah. So imagine holding a controller normally. So people have, their thumbs on the thumbsticks and their index finger is either on the top or bottom trigger depending on which one you're playing. If you're playing on an Xbox, your uh, index finger is on the trigger, and then everything else, like your other fingers, are underneath the controller holding it up. Switch that around for PS4, or PS3, doesn't matter. Um, your finger is doing the same thing. Claw changes the entire way you hold the controller. And I actually have some friends, Ryan, that when they first held a controller, they held it like Claw. They didn't hold it normally.
yeah, I
So
don't know how. I've seen people play claw, and it honestly hurts my hand looking at them.
yeah, so Claw basically is you shift your index finger. So just move your index finger up to the top of the controller, so it's hovering over your buttons. For instance, PS4 would be X square triangle circle. Xbox would be AX YB. I haven't played Xbox in a while, so I'm thinking that's what it is.
It
Um,
is.
and so you would still aim with your thumb, but you would shoot with your ring finger, your right ring finger, and then your tacticals would be used. Actually, yeah, no. Your ring finger would be the tacticals, and then your middle finger would be shooting. So it's so hard to talk about without holding a controller. But then your index finger, so the main finger that you use pretty much for everything, like pointing to stuff, would be controlling the buttons. So like if I'm jumping, I would use my index finger, and none of my fingers would have to come off the controller. So because it's already laying there. So at first it's super hard. Your hand cramps up all the time because your hand's not supposed to be in that position for, long periods of time. But so I'm probably gonna have arthritis by the time I'm 28. I'm 24 now, so I got a few years left in me. But pretty much that's kind of how it was. Uh, there, you know, it made it so you didn't have to spend $200 on a controller. The only thing is, was it comfortable for players? No, but was it comfortable for their wallets? Yes. So there's actually a few professional Call of Duty players that play Claw, but they have a scuff because the scuff they're able to like manipulate some other buttons on the controller. I think Scump uses Claw. I don't know if Silly, from EG, he might play Claw. I'm not 100%, but I know that there's a few players that play Claw, and you would think, wow, these guys are next level. Why are they not spending the money? They have hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in every year. It's just preference. There's really nothing different um, with Claw than with the Scuff. Is just how your hand is on the controller. Um, Enough about Call of Duty. So, I mean, I guess we could still talk about Call of Duty, but I don't want people to think that we're strictly Call of Duty. That's just the game that we played competitively, right? So I played it.
The only reason that we talked about Call of Duty so much,
it's because where we started.
Because that's where we started. That's where we met. Honestly, I haven't touched Call of Duty in months since World War II came out. I've been playing a lot more Fortnite. I've been playing God of War.
Great game. To me it's I'm a commentator for the Collegiate Call of Duty League. It's just a small volunteer ran league by college players for college players. I think you can see the relationship for what I do. I do things for players or things for people by the people that want it to actually be there. So for me, I'm doing a podcast for gamers by gamers, or by gamers for gamers, and I'm helping run a league for college players by college players. So, that's why I'm only on World War II. I never play the game anymore. I actually went on to ranked play and wanted to slice my eyeballs out because it's just, Jayhawks fan 4457911 is going 0-13 in hardpoint and is running around with a sniper rifle or something like that. And it's just like, dude, can you please not do that? But for all you PC players out there, do not think that we're not going to be talking about PC games. I'm an avid PC gamer as well. It's just tough to play PC games when you have no friends that have like a really strong enough PC to play these games. I mean, I don't even have a strong PC. I have a GTX 960 and an i5. So it's like a lot of my friends have like not a lot, but some of my friends have like i7s with 1080s or 1080is. So they're just those two pieces of hardware alone are upwards of like $700-$800. I think maybe close to 1,000. So, don't feel bad about us not going into PC right now. It's just we're introducing ourselves for the future. But
interestingly enough, actually, is at the beginning of the year I was posting YouTube videos almost every day. And then I tried a couple different series type things to see like what would happen. And then I actually went to Europe for a month. So I quit streaming and gaming altogether, obviously, because I can't take all that stuff overseas. But I have ideas about posting onto YouTube again. I'm actually thinking about playing Fortnite on a PC and because going from console to PC is probably one of the most uncomfortable, most horrible experiences, especially with the popularity of Fortnite and people like Ninja and Cypher and Dr. Lupo. Really the only big console Fortnite player is it only Nick Mercs? I know Nadeshot switched over to be playing PlayStation.
Yeah, I would think it's Nick Mercs or Nadeshot. I mean, it's just there's a ton of players on console that just don't stream to the levels of them. They're there.
Right, yeah.
They have the same skill, but we don't know about them because they don't have the popularity, and it kind of sucks. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I was gonna say is I might start a series on me trying to learn how to play PC games.
Dude, you should definitely get a cam for your hands, and see like so you get a face cam and a cam for your fingers, and just see how fast you're doing it and how wrong you're doing it. You're clicking two instead of one, and next thing you know, you're building a pyramid and blocking yourself out. But it'll be pretty fun. I think I've played it a little bit on PC. Before building was like what it is today. I played it from the beginning. I played Fortnite Battle Royale since the beginning of it. So the day one when it came out, I think last October, November, I think I got into the private beta. I got an email to get into it because they did private beta and then they went open like a month later, and that's when everyone went in. And so I think I got into the private beta like a few days before the open beta. So I was playing that. But I think you'd have a lot of fun on PC. It's a game that you don't need a gigantic computer or really like hardcore gaming computer to do. I think you can even do it on a Mac, but Mac is like super super like, dude, it's so dumbed down. It's honestly like worse than a 90s video game, but graphics don't make the video games. We'll get into that into another episode, but like I think you'll be all right. You're a gamer and gamers can adapt, right? So you'll be fine, I think.
Well, part of me is trying to figure out if I want to make an honest effort and try to learn, because I could play Save the World and it doesn't matter if I'm hitting the wrong keys. That would be more of me actually learning and muscle memory. Or if I want to go for more of the entertainment route and play like just hop straight into BR
I
and
think you should just
be
go.
the bots that you
Yeah.
guys see on Tifu's stream and Ninja's stream.
Dude.
You're gonna be like, dude, how is this kid in the last two?
Yeah, and you're just like crouching and you're like, how do I uncrouch or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I think yeah, you should definitely do it for entertainment type episode or series. There was back in the day when YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. I mean, it's so funny that I'm only 24 years old. I think you're like what, 22, 23 or
21.
something.
I turned 22 this year.
Yeah, so only a few more months or weeks, but for like for me to say, you know, back in the day when YouTube, it's like if we have any viewers out there that are young, you know, like, you know, under 13 or 15, I would say, like they're coming to YouTube, you know, I think I would say at its peak, but I used to follow a guy on YouTube. His name was called Follow My Career, and it basically was a guy who was playing Halo, and he never touched Halo 3 in his life. So he didn't touch it. He got hopped on and he made a series, and his gamer tag was actually Follow My Career as well. No spaces. It was pretty sick. And so he started out, you know, Social Slayer, then he moved up to Slayer or Free For All, and then he went to the ranked playlist. So he did the social playlist that didn't really mean anything, but like each video or every 2 videos he'd jump into a different playlist and improve on something. So it was like Team Snipers, he'd do that. Slayer, he would do that. Then he'd do Free For All to get better at aiming at multiple people, shooting at him at one time, like 7 players. And he eventually would go to ranked, like Team Slayer or you know, Team Snipers or something like that. Team Snipers was a social and ranked playlist for the kids who don't know about Halo 3. There were 2 different playlists. One was for shits and giggles, and the other one was for sweating and getting really mad at your teammates. But then there was a playlist called MLG, which is a lot of pro players would be playing back in the day, and it was basically every game mode and map that the pros were playing on the MLG circuit back in the day, they'd be playing on for free without any repercussions of losing 5 in a row. And dude, his improvements, like you can go watch it. Just go to YouTube and type in Follow My Career, all one word, no spaces, and it's honestly pretty intriguing to see like how far he came in that game so fast. Like he went from his aim being terrible to him 4-shotting kids within a few months. And that game was actually like probably the most skill-based Halo since, I would say, Halo 2. Obviously Halo 2 and 3 came back and forth. Like one right after another, but dude, this guy went crazy. He was so good. And he obviously stopped uploading because he probably got a life and couldn't play anymore. But I think that would be kind of cool, is like follow my adaptiveness, or follow the adaptability would be pretty cool, because it's like you're adapting.
Console to PC,
yeah, console
baby.
to PC, and it's going to be a completely different ball game. And I mean, I think with Fortnite seeing how popular it is, they're actually going to be making it so you can make each button on your controller, like you can customize your controller, and I think that's what's needed, because Builder Pro is iffy. Like sometimes it doesn't even register my builds, and I'm like, what? And it maybe just be my lag, but it's kind of frustrating when you're playing that game. But I think that'd be cool. You tangent done. I think you should definitely do it and make it an entertaining process, because like there's no one who does that. And I'm not saying
Right.
you're going to be the first and you're going to blow up, but it's kind of like this podcast. No one has a podcast where they talk about
Right.
games and games that they played and what they want to do in the future of gaming, and like what they expected and what they didn't expect, stuff like that. But I think that'd be pretty cool. And you're the streamer that streams 24/7. It feels like I get on Twitch and you're constantly on there, and you're averaging like 4 to 5 viewers, and you're kind of going, dude, I deserve more, and you do.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that forever, and I've had this discussion with a couple people now. It's because I will turn it on almost whenever. My general rule of thumb is no matter what I'm doing or what I'm playing, even if and it this is like the argument is because like I'll turn it on if I know that I'm gonna play for at least 2 hours. Because in my mind, turning it on, somebody will come. Usually somebody will follow. There's days where nobody does. There's days where I get 4 or 5. Um, and I've had the discussion like, is it better for my channel to do that, just to be constantly streaming, whether it's Fortnite or Fortnite Wagers or God of War, or I streamed RuneScape. I've played RuneScape here and there. And the flip side of that is going into it with a more organized state of mind, like knowing that I'm only gonna stream for 2 or 3 hours versus 12 or 8, and if me just doing random stuff, knowing that I'm only going to stream like Fortnite Wagers, and if I want to play something else, then that's when the stream's gonna get turned off to like really solidify my channel as something. And I don't know the answer. It's not like I've made it, and I feel like even the bigger YouTubers and streamers don't have the answer because, well, I mean, maybe they do though. Because if you look at Ninja, you know that he plays other games. Like I've seen clips of him playing League of Legends. I know Courage plays World of Warcraft. I
Dude,
know Nick Merckx.
everyone's playing World of Warcraft. Lyric, Shroud. I don't think Doctor Disrespect or Ninja's not gonna follow that. They're gonna follow it, but everyone's switching it up. But go ahead.
But it's like even some of them, it's like Courage pulls thousands. He switches to World of Warcraft, only has 300. So it's like when your channel's known for something and you try to break out of that, it's very hard and it's very scary. Like even one of my brother's friends was a very popular 2K streamer. He got I don't play 2K all that. He was like, so they have like a playground mode, or park. It's not playground, park, and you're ranked. And so if you're ranked in the top 10 or top 20, everyone that goes into my park can see your name. And so if you're number one, the whole world knows you're number one. It's like the Call of Duty leaderboards or like the Fortnite leaderboards, but like everyone can see it and everyone's always checking it. Like that's what the game is built around. And he got to number one, was making like good money on YouTube and from streaming. And he was younger and he didn't know quite how to do it. And there's other things that go into it, but it's like he got so popular playing 2K that there was no out for him because the moment he switches from 2K to Call of Duty, no one's watching. And then as a streamer, when you're actually making money and actually getting viewers and actually having conversations in the chat, and you switch and all of that goes away, it's not only scary, but it's frustrating. It is what it is. But like we would play Call of Duty, I play game battles with this kid or wagers, and he gets messages like, "Go back to 2K. You shouldn't be playing Call of Duty."
Yeah.
Like still to this day, like he was popular. I want to say 2K15. We'll play World War II, or we've played Fortnite Wagers, and people will message him, "Get back on 2K."
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he doesn't even stream anymore. That's the funny part.
To me, it's kind of like, I think the funniest thing. So, if anyone's listening and they have an Instagram, I don't say don't follow, but you don't have to. But follow Ninja or look at one of his posts. Just type in Ninja on Instagram and it comes up. And just look at the comments. It is honestly, it's mind blowing. This guy went from, he wasn't a nobody, right? But he was a Halo pro. Halo 3, 4, or Halo 3, Reach 4, and then a little bit of 5. And then, but he, at the same time, he was playing H1Z1, which was like, I think, I would say the pinnacle of Battle Royale games at this point right now. It pretty much started this whole breakout of these games. And it was a good game. And he was really good at it and competed under LG, I think, still. Luminosity Gaming. And I think he won some tournaments or maybe won a couple or got close to it. But he would get invited because he was a big streamer for them. And same thing, if you switch to Halo to stream Halo, he went from like 2,000 viewers to like 200, 300. I don't think he passed 500 viewers when streaming Halo. And then he would then become a really good PUBG player. And then Fortnite came along, and actually he retired from Halo when he was playing PUBG because he was making more money streaming PUBG than he was competing in Halo. And
I think he knew that he was better on
Well,
the
yeah,
PC
yeah.
too. I think he kind of realized that I can do both, but it's not really gonna benefit me if I can just focus on one and be the best at one.
yeah, so
The
then
other thing too is Halo was on a decline.
yeah, Halo since Halo
So-
I would say since Halo 3 was on a decline, Halo Reach was pretty much the last good Halo they had. And so he even I think he even tweeted like, guys, you need to get out of it while you can, while you still have an
Yeah.
audience. He even said like, be smart about your career choice, because what you're doing right now, you're not going to be able to do this in a few years. And sure, lo and behold, Halo the World Championship only got like the final, I think only got like 60,000 viewers, and you're probably thinking 60,000 people, that's like a stadium, like a football stadium worth of people. But compared to like Fortnite and what he's averaging for just a
Ye-
regular day, he's averaging 100,000+ people in his streams. So he made a good career choice. But then when Fortnite came along, he was the first one to really use building as an aggressive type playstyle, not just like a fort mode, where Fortnite was actually supposed to be like you build a fort and you fight each other. I don't think Epic Games really thought that building was going to turn in this direction, and Battle Royale was actually not even supposed to be a thing. Save the World was in the making for 7 years, and then they made Battle Royale in 6 months. So, and now look at it. But besides the point, Ninja was the first player to really be aggressive, and when he was streaming, everyone was like, "Holy cow, this guy's really good!" And then lo and behold, their friends told their friends, and he got on Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that, your Explore page, all about Ninja. But just kind of watch his stuff, because like he posted an Instagram video of him getting a pentakill on League of Legends, and someone was like, "Why are you playing League? Go back to Fortnite." And it's just like, your friend, it's like there's no life out of it. The minute the minute you get into it, you're kind of screwed. If you
Well, what's even funnier is like, if you go in like that case, and in my friend's case, you're going not only from a different game that you're associated with, but you're going from being number one. Ninja was number one in Halo. Or not Halo, sorry, H1. My friend was number one in 2K. And now there's not really like a leaderboard ranking system, but Ninja's basically top 3, top 5 solidified skill wise. I would say it depends. I mean, there's a lot of RNG that goes into it, but so not only are you switching from what you're known from, but you're switching from being number one to normal people basically. Like my friend would switch from 2K and play wagers. It's not like he was playing tournaments and coming in first every single night, or like we were playing $1 wagers. And same with Ninja. Like, what was it even a ranked game, or was it just like casual league? Like, who cares? He's just having fun. But it's
he's
just
just
like,
having fun. Might as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably, the thing is, I think the gaming industry has really become narrow minded, where it's like you only like a few types of games, and that's what this podcast isn't going to be.
right.
We of course play FPS. If you haven't noticed, we've played a lot of shooting games on PC and on console, and on other things like if there's a game that's shooting, we'll probably see it and talk about it. But I'm also expanding my taste buds. I'm like that person that goes to a restaurant and orders something different every time. I graduated college, and I was kind of like, first person shooters have gotten so boring. Like, they're the same. Like, Call of Duty has become the same repetitive thing all the time. And like, I was so hyped for World War II, and it just gave me a bad taste in my mouth. And so I don't even know if I'm going to get Black Ops 4 unless Blackout's really good, which of course is a first person battle royale game mode. So, I just feel so bad about saying that. Like, I don't think I ever in my life thought I mean, last year I even texted, I don't even think I'm going to get World War II. I even told Ryan that. I was like, I'm not getting another Call of Duty game. And lo and behold, I got it. And it was awful. And it happens every time. Every
The
time I do it.
The thing with me in Call of Duty, because I said that this year, I was like, I'm not gonna get Black Ops 4. But I think the thing, at least for me, is I've gotten to the point where I'm so nitpicky about everything. And I think that has something to do with comparing Call of Duty to other companies, but it's also just, it's like you just play these other games and they're just built so much better. Like, for example, I played God of War, and if no one's, this is completely opposite of Call of Duty, but like you get on God of War, the main storyline lasts at least 7-ish, 8-ish hours on easy. And then after that, you have so much other stuff to do, and it's free. You're not paying for it. You're not paying for DLC. There's just so many other side quests and like things to find. But like you get on Call of Duty, and it's like you want the extra maps, you have to pay for it. You want the
Yeah.
extra guns, you have to pay for it. And I got in this argument with somebody about comparing Fortnite to Call of Duty. And I was like, Fortnite's doing it right. Because although Fortnite has things that you can buy, they don't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get roasted by some of your friends in probably a joking manner. I would not imagine that some kid is getting bullied because he doesn't buy the Raven outfit. But
I bought it. I bought it. Are you gonna bully me? Before you get into like, wow, you bought it. I've spent $10 on that game throughout the entire life to get the battle pass. So all of my V-Bucks are from PvE, which I got a free code from my friend who got the $100 version. So do not
Right.
think that I've spent money on this game, because I actually refund my stuff. So I got the whiteout, refunded it, and then bought the Raven skin. So all right, go ahead. Just saying.
But the thing is, it's like you get on Call of Duty, and like I can get on Call of Duty right now, and there's guns that I don't have, and to get them, you have to buy loot
Dude,
boxes.
that is so crazy. Like Modern Warfare 2, that never happened. Like why
That's not-
why on
yeah.
earth are they doing this type of stuff? And it's so frustrating. It's like that's why I'm turning to single player games. And I think the next episode we're going to talk about that. But we're going to end this episode in probably like 10 or 15 more minutes. So don't worry. But I think before we end it, we want to talk about what games we're playing now. And obviously you can kind of get a gist of what he's playing. But I'm playing a lot of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't even think about. And so but that's the thing. It's like you're paying money for a game, and then you're paying money for an unfinished product at this point. And it's so frustrating. Like E3, Ryan, so much hype. And then you kind
there's
of
so many good games coming out.
but then you
that are
kind of
just gonna
realize
get-
you're gonna have to pay $60 for the base game, and then another probably $40 to $50 for everything else. So each game at E3 is probably going to be at least $100 if you want the full experience.
And they're all like that too. It's like I bag on Call of Duty a lot because it has so much potential to be similar to Fortnite. But then like it's the same thing with Assassin's Creed. You play through the storyline that lasts you maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I haven't played the new one that's
Dude,
in Egypt.
Okay,
but
hold on. You're saying like the God of War campaign is not 8 hours long. Just saying, for any viewers that haven't played it and if it is on sale, I highly recommend it. And we are not paid by any gaming companies, so don't think if we're saying buy the game, it's because we're getting paid if you do it. We're literally doing this out of our own free time, and we think that gamers who like games are going to tell other gamers to play the game. So if we're saying this game's good, you probably should try it out, even if it's not your cup of tea. But God of War, like that game has, like you said, a whole storyline that's more than 8 hours. So don't take Ryan's. It took my roommate 2 full days of playing. It was like at least 25-30 hours. So don't do that. But
the only reason I said 8 is because they just released like an option to restart with all your gear if you've beat it once, and I did that. And the first time I beat it on like the ultra hard mode.
mhm.
So this time I was like, I'm just gonna play it on easy. At this point, I'm just playing it to play it. And even on easy though, like easy, like and when I say easy, I mean like I'm half asleep playing like I want to
Yeah.
up it more. And it's even on easy though, it's taken me like at least 6 hours to get like a little bit more than halfway through the game.
Well, I know, but I mean, like at that point, you've already beaten the game, so you don't really care about the cutscenes, and you really don't care
Oh,
about.
no. Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is like, even if you bought that game and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna play it on easy, it's still gonna last you so long.
Yeah,
That's my point.
Especially if
Like-
you have like the OCD of wanting to 100.
Oh my,
be 100% it.
yes. Oh yes.
get that like platinum trophy or whatever they call it. But
Yeah.
like Assassin's Creed, I was so hyped for it, right? And a lot of these games, I feel like when they get released, I buy them, and then like I stop playing them after like 2 months of like religiously playing them, and then I come back to them, and then I'm like, holy crap, this game is super good. Like I stopped playing Assassin's Creed Origin, like I think for almost like 7 months, and came back to it. I was having so much fun, and I actually stopped playing it because um I got a job and I didn't want to put time into a single player game and not be able to talk to my friends, because it was either talk to them and play another game or not talk to them and play it, because I really like digesting everything I'm seeing. But like those types of games, like Assassin's Creed has a bunch of stuff, but it also has a season pass. It's kind of like, why is this game, a single player game with no online capabilities, having a season pass?
Well,
It's
just look at the like you can look at Halo. When I played Halo 3, they had so much cool stuff in the game. So like you could play Halo 3 and you could play the campaign and never touch online
mm-hmm.
and still unlock stuff for your character, because if none of you have played Halo before, Halo 3 at least had different armor variations. So like you would have the base set of armor that Master
Hold on,
Chief
hold on.
wears.
Is that someone dancing in the background I just heard? Are you playing while we're talking?
No, I had my friend join my lobby on Fortnite.
Oh, because this
That's
guy,
right.
I just heard someone do the boogie down emote. So.
But you could change his armor based on the achievements that you got in the game. So for example, if you beat the game on easy, you would unlock like a set of armor, and then everyone would know that you beat the game on easy. And it's like that for everything. So it was like if you beat it on legendary, you had that armor. If you went through and found all the skulls, which it's just Halo's version of a collectible, like find the secret, blah blah blah. Every game basically has it. But like you found all the skulls, you got a cool piece of armor. And like
the
that
best one.
that kind of sense of achievement and sense of, oh, I have this, you don't, because either I was willing to take the time to do it, because like you could look them all up, but like some of them are still, even if you knew where they are, some of them were harder to get. Some people were just too lazy, but then like there was ones that were like actually harder. So it was like if you got a double kill with like a sniper or like I don't remember them all, like, but there was like, oh, getting overkill I think was one of them. And when you played Halo, you're only playing 4v4. So like getting an overkill was the hardest, like one of the hardest things in the world. But then like you see people with that armor and you're like, damn. And like I've been saying this about Fortnite, and Fortnite has taken, quite honestly, in my opinion, because I'm so competitive, but they're so casual with their game. They have the perfect opportunity to make armor or cosmetics or a pickaxe and just give the, like, for example, if I win 500 games, I should have an umbrella that other people don't, in my opinion. Even if it's just an umbrella with like a 500 on it, I would go crazy when I earn that. And they won't do that because they don't want so many little kids play this game. At least this is my opinion, that they don't want that sense of competitiveness or that sense of like, oh, I'm better than you, because they just want everybody to have fun on their game, which is fine. But but like when you look at Call of Duty and you look at the newer Halos and you look at Assassin's Creed, you don't get that anymore. Like you don't get that armor that you have to get 500 kills. You know what you get? If I buy $500 worth of loot boxes, then I get that armor or that gun. Like that, and so you literally, instead of putting it in the game from the get-go and having people earn it and like grind the game, because like that's the only reason I put so many hours into Halo 3. Like nowadays, I could play through the campaign of Halo, and then after that, it's all loot boxes.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty, like you play online and get the camos that they put in the game, but then like if you want the new gun or the new melee weapon, oh, it's loot boxes.
Yeah, and it's super frustrating. It's like, speaking of loot boxes,
it takes the substance out of the game. It takes the fun out of the game. It takes the competitive edge out of the game. It's literally the hamburger analogy. If you're a gamer, you've probably heard this before, but if not, back in the day, you would buy a cheeseburger, and they put everything on that cheeseburger. You got the bun, you got the meat, you got the cheese, the lettuce, the tomato, the pickle, the onion, and it was great. It was the best burger you've ever had. Fast forward 5-6 years, you go buy a cheeseburger, but all you get is the bun, the meat, and the cheese. If you want the lettuce, you got to pay another $10. If you want the onion, you got to pay another $10. So like why? Like what?
Yeah, why would you? It's super frustrating. And a game that had a lot of potential, and I honestly think is fun to this day, but I don't play it because a lot of my friends don't play it, so why would I waste time? Star Wars Battlefront 2. It got they put the most iconic character in Star Wars history, Darth Vader, behind a paywall, or 40 to 50 hours of playing. Now, if someone's only able to play maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, if they're only able to play one, which a lot of people don't even get to play one, right? If they're only able to play 1 hour a day, that's 50 days worth of playing to get one character. And that's not even the most expensive character of credits, quote unquote. Credits is what you get after each game. It's like your score divided by like 25% or whatever like that. And that was like their analogy was if they want it, they'll pay for it. Or not analogy, but their thought process, I guess. And it was
What's
just
funny
like,
too is like this is exactly the point I was making. Is like even if it took you 50 days, uh, but like if I put in the money or not the money, sorry, but the time and the effort, even if it took me 50 days, that sense of achievement when you finally get that, you're like, oh yes. But going off of Star Wars, it's like you could play those 50 days and still not have enough
yeah,
because
because
there's
what
still a
if you're,
sense of like luck and time. Like
yeah,
it's
because like,
not
what if you're
even
not a
like,
good
oh, if I
player?
well that and it's not black and white though is my point. It's not like, oh, play 50 days, get this skin. It's like, oh, if you play 50 days, then you'll have enough coins to like maybe get him out of a box.
Well, no, like his was like his was like 40,000 credits, and you get 1,000 credits per hour. And so it's
Okay.
like you had to like put the time in. So if you didn't average 1,000 credits an hour, so sometimes you might only get 600 or 800, it'll
Right.
take you even longer. And it's just like,
I
and
think
they got rid
even
of it, but it was just like, and that game is actually really fun to play. They updated a lot about the game, but it's just
right.
like at the end of the day, you're kind of just like, oh man. But I don't want this podcast to be us about like not bitching, but us to just dragging companies in the dirt because
Oh
we're
no,
not.
because trust me, I
We're
have a
just
ton of
gamers.
great things to say about. I hate Fortnite in the sense that I'm just too competitive, but Fortnite has done a lot of things right. God of War, whoever wrote the storyline for God of War needs to quit his job and go find a job in Hollywood because the work that he was able to do on that game, tying Nordic mythology to Greek mythology, was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree with Greg. Don't think that it's just you're gonna get on here and it's just gonna be us dragging or complaining the whole time. I mean, those are the most controversial topics, so it's easier to do for us to get engagement from each other and from fans, or like however you want to put it. But there's definitely good things to say about companies and games and stuff.
Yeah. So if you guys hear a dog barking in the background, it's my neighbor's little chihuahua. That's at the same time around 2:30 every day, 2:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. It just starts barking. It's just like, put it inside, stop letting it bark. But if you do hear that, I apologize, but you probably won't. So to really, the stream's at 48 minutes. So to not stream, but the podcast is at 48 minutes right now. So to really wrap this up for episode 1, let me give my take on what games I'm playing right now to kind of give the viewers a little sense of like, why is this guy playing this? It's like old. So, and what like how we would consider old, right? Right now I'm playing The Division. Did you ever play that, Ryan?
I did not.
All right. So The Division, Tom Clancy's The Division. It's basically a open world RPG, third person shooter. Manhattan's taken away from a virus, all that stuff, and it's a really good game. It's one of those games where when you get to level 30, because there's 30 levels. When you get to level 30, you level up your character to that. That's when the game actually starts. So like it's a grind to get to 30, but then once you finish the grind, you're like, finally, like let the games begin.
Right.
Another game that I'm playing is I don't it, right now I'm playing like I said, The Division, and then after The Division I am going to be playing the Handsome Collection, so Borderlands, the prequel,
Oh my god, yeah.
Borderlands
Those
2.
I love those games.
So that's what I'm going to be doing, and then that's going to be leading into this upcoming fall games, and so I'm really excited about all those games coming out, and then we have the betas coming out for I think Blackout and then Battlefield 5, so that's going to be pretty fun. And then there's Spider-Man's coming out in September. That game's going to be insane. Just the way
Red
it
Dead.
looks. oh yeah, Red Dead. But as of right now, the Division's really on my. It's just a game that I thought my friend was like, let's try this, let's play it, let's grind it out, and I was like, yeah, why not? I got time, and by far one of the best choices. It is like when it first came out, bare bones, super stupid. Like you got to level 30 and you're like, now what? But they updated the game a ton in the last 2 years, and so it's in the third year. Um, and so it's just a really good game. So if you guys can get it for cheap, I would, because the Division 2 is coming out in March of 2019, and it is actually going to be basing it off of the first game, of course. And I think some progress might actually transfer over. So that is what makes the players want to actually play the game and grind it out, because like if none of your progress transfers over to the next game, what's the point, right? I mean, everyone should get a fresh start, but you should reward the players that stood by you while you're at your lows and give them like something. But that doesn't mean that you give them everything. But that's what I'm playing, is the Division. I'm going to be playing the Handsome Collection, and yeah, that's pretty much it. A little bit of Fortnite here and there, but I'm only playing Fortnite because my friends play it. But what games are you playing right now, Ryan?
I was gonna say to piggyback off of that, I'm actually going to, as I was talking about, I post YouTube videos. I actually just typed out while we were doing this a 30-day plan, and so what I'm gonna do is try to, because I feel like I've lost my sense of competitiveness, in the sense that like I don't play game battles. I quit playing Call of Duty. I play Fortnite, but like Fortnite is just so repetitious and frustrating. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to old Call of Duties and pub stomp and try to get Master Prestige on whatever I own. So I think like the oldest one I own on PlayStation is maybe Black Ops 3, but I think the disc might be at my house because I'm at college. So like maybe IW and MWR, just to lead up to Black Ops 4 for like Black Ops 4 hype. So I'm gonna do that. And then also I'm gonna play Fortnite, but instead of posting your typical like 15 kill solo duos or this or that, I'm going to flip flop back and forth between posting wagers, which a lot of people don't play, or if you're just a casual player or you don't want to play for money, it might be more entertaining for someone like that to watch other people play for money. So
It's funny that we can actually hear you playing right now. Your mic is picking it up, so
is my mic that loud?
it's not loud. It's just like I can hear you shoot, and then a grenade like exploded. So like we'll fix it. Don't worry. This is the first episode. We'll fix all the tech issues for the next ones. But go ahead.
But yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then also, like I said, I'm gonna flip flop between posting wagers, but I'm also going to try to learn how to play PC, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
so
that'd be a lot of fun. I think.
well, it's just gonna be funny because I get mad playing this game in general.
Someone just got downed. Was that you?
No, it wasn't me.
But yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I think the next episode, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I think it's just like kind of how we're feeling, but we're gonna try doing like a theme. So right now we to summarize what we talked about the beginning of how me and Ryan became friends, and then kind of went into the beginning of our mindsets of like the gaming industry. So that was nice. But and the beginning of a new leaf for Ryan and his YouTube grind. So that's gonna be cool. Check him out, Ryan Grant. I think it's Ryan Grant Gaming on YouTube, unless you changed it.
It should just be Ryan Grant, but we can also just put links in the description.
Yeah.
So
we'll
all
put
of
them
our
in
social media and stuff.
Yeah. So follow him on Twitter. It's gonna be twitter.com/RhinoG, which is RR and then Rhino. So, wait. So hold on. I just realized this. Is the double R in your name? Is it because it's Ryan Rhino Grant?
Not purposefully, but I'm gonna start telling people that.
So that's actually what it's for. So don't.
The Rhino is it's just a nickname from when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
all the sports that I used to play growing up, so t-ball and soccer and all that.
if your name's Tony or Antonio, it's probably Rhino or something like that. Like, and then Ryan also has a Rhino as well. So it's like the
Yeah,
Rhino
so-
nickname. So, but
right.
that, I mean, I just totally thought about that because he does double R's on everything. So it kind of makes sense because his first name is Ryan and his middle name can technically be Rhino.
And then the G is just my last name,
Yeah,
so
and the
Grant.
G's Grant.
The double R came from when I decided that, because growing up I changed my gamer tag a million times, and so I finally decided, I was like, dude, I'm picking one. I'm just gonna stick with it. And so I was trying my best to make it concise, but also have Rhino in it. And so this is what I came up with. It stuck, and now this is what all of my social media except my YouTube is. So
Yeah. So I got Scuppy, SCUPIE. So just that's literally everything I do now. It's just Scuppy. But my PSN is actually Greg Esports because I wanted to make it more professional in case people wanted to follow me on Twitter, which no one does. So don't worry about it. But yeah. So follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter is the Co-op Podcast. But it's gonna be spelled the Coop Podcast because you can't put a dash, but you could put an underline, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but
I think Coop is better.
the Coop It's called the Coop Podcast on Twitter. So follow us on there. Follow us on SoundCloud. I just created it before this episode so we can put our podcast on SoundCloud as well. But I think we can only do the first 5. So once we do 5, I think we're gonna switch over to Spotify. Because Spotify you have to have at least 5 or 6. So I'm hoping that we can get 6 on SoundCloud without having to get SoundCloud Plus, which is that stupid thing you have to pay $10 a month for. Besides the point, follow us on Twitter, the Coop Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to be posting these on YouTube as well. We're going to be posting them on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify when we have the ability to. Everything is going to be called the Coop Podcast or the Co-op Podcast. So don't worry about that. You can email us questions at I just made the email yesterday, so it's kind of hard. Podcastcoop@gmail.com. So just instead of the Coop Podcast, just put Podcast Coop and then send us an email or DM us on Twitter and ask us some questions. Obviously, we may not have any questions or anything for the first 10 or 15 episodes. Totally fine. We know that in order to get noticed or in order to do something and have it gain traction, you have to be committed to it. And we're gamers and we commit to a lot of things that we like putting our minds to. So yeah, that is going to be the end of the first episode. The first episode is going to be called The Beginning. So if you want to look it up on YouTube, the Co-op Podcast, episode 1, The Beginning.
I think going off of that as well, first off, it doesn't just have to be questions. Feel free to put suggestions or a certain game, and then also if you guys want to see anything about this get better, so if you want us to live stream it, so you can just type in the chat, or if you want us to talk about something in particular or change a format or something, we're open. This is we're just doing this, so you let us know what you guys want to see and we'll try in our best power to make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. And if possible, we might even, if we have the ability to have guests on. So if you're a gamer and you want to talk to us about games, shoot us a DM and ask, hey, can we get in the next one? And obviously we can't do more than 4 because I don't think co-op campaigns do more than 4. So if a guest or two want to hop on and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you guys about something, by all means join us. We'd love to have you. And it's something that we want to do long term. It's just something to do for fun. I have nothing to listen to on my drives to work, and my work is about an hour away. So I'm trying to keep it about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour long, just so if you have a 30-minute commute, you listen to it both ways and you finish the episode. It'd be pretty cool. So yeah, just follow us on our social media links. They will be in the description on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on Spotify as well when we get that. So yeah, we really do appreciate you guys listening. We're going to try doing an episode once every week, probably on Saturdays or Sundays. We'll upload it the following day. So if we upload it on Saturday, or if we do it on Saturday, it'll be uploaded on Sunday. If we do it on Sunday, it'll be uploaded on a Monday. So yeah, I do appreciate everyone checking us out, and be sure to follow us on our social media links. Check out Ryan's stream at twitch.tv/RhinoG. Also be in the description below, and have a great rest of your day, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Unfreaking believable. Perfection. Game over.